Swazdola Sura, I am Surface, the Down Under Space Pirate, and I return again with a. What are we calling these? Review, ramble, thoughts? Fuck it, whatever it is. Monte Games just put out another Whitebook. Sort of, this was a back kit thing from a bit ago, but I backed it. So, I'm going to be honest because I forked out fucking shipping to Australia fucking money for this. By the way, anyone that says the Australia tax isn't a thing or isn't a thing anymore is a dirty fucking liar. Anywho, let's do this. Let's start with the cover. Fucking awesome. Roberto Peturu, hope I said your name right, fucking nailed it. The silhouette is a netrunner with goggles on, looking towards the title that is in outlined neon colours. The action pose is great, and inside the silhouette is a cyberpunk metropolis of lights with a twin rotocopter going past. Nailed it, no notes. Immediately inside, and scattered throughout the book, are also these cyberpunk style ads that are just on point. The entire art team did their job. Love it. Usually I have to go at reviewers who praise on the art too much, but so much of the art in this book is in-universe ads to the presented setting of Edge City. This is art done right. Cannot stress that enough. Okay, let's break this book down. Table of contents shows off what we'll be seeing during this talk. Cool? Cool. Introduction gives us the welcome from Bruce Cordell, Dominic Dickey, and Sean Reynolds. Honestly, this intro felt a little flat to me. By the way, Dominic, I hope I'm saying your name right. The spelling seems to be inconsistent in this book. Anyway, it's a pretty bland intro, but it feels like its choices of media cyberpunk are very pop culture knowledge based. I don't want to get too far into it, but this, along with the content warning, it's cyberpunk. You gotta be fucking brain dead to not know what's in store for a cyberpunk genre game. Hell, you mentioned cyberpunk edge runners. Literally everything you mention is in that show. And players should totally expect that they will lose a character. Or a few. Anywho, part 1. Player characters. Chapter 1, Player's Overview, gives players their introduction to what the genre is about with the basic concepts, then the setting of Edge City, its major megacorporations and prominent gangs, and finally, character backgrounds. Chapter 2, Types and Descriptors, gives us a bit of something new in an overhaul of the types to fit the genre. Usually we don't see stuff like this in the white books, it's more of the setting books like Perdition, Numenera, The Strange, Old Gods of Appalachia, etc. So this was quite interesting to me. There's also a list of general cyberpunk abilities for tiers 1 and 2 that are just available as an option for all types. So just quickly going through them. Solo is the warrior variant, Hotshot is the explorer variant, Broker is the speaker variant, and Tech is the adept variant, but with all the overtly supernatural magic abilities replaced. After that, we have new descriptors, which are pretty cool. Addicted is pretty self-explanatory, drug addict. Corpo is a wage slave. Engram is an AI in a synth organic body, which that's pretty cool and unique. Furious is basically a cyber psycho, and Luddite is a zero cyber, a true blue all human. All fun and games, really. Chapter 3, Foci, gives us an overview of the foci for the setting, informing us of 43 foci from the Cypher System Red Book that are good for a cyberpunk game, and then gives us 9 new foci to focus on. I demand a chuckle, damn it. Anyway, quick breakdown. Embed's Stealth Tech is a sneaky boy, as it says on the box. Explores Cyberspace is a netrunner, again, as it says on the box. Hacks the Network is a cyberphile for hacking. Has a custom drone. You get a custom drone. Cool. Has Eyes Everywhere is a surveillance system specialist hacker or data broker. Is a walking tank is exactly what it says on the box, dude. Knows Everything is prime for a face or fixer, honestly. Pax Chromed Heat is where you specialize in chrome firearms, and Weaponizes Chrome is a specialist in melee chrome. I see you, Mantis freaks. Anyway, Chapter 4, Player Intrusions, presents a host of new options for player intrusions themed around the cyberpunk genre, based on the variants of the new types, as well as some general intrusions that any type can use. It's fine. It's one of those things where I get the intent, but I personally wouldn't need it, I don't think. Chapter 5 Equipment presents something that I think helps in that interpretation of the rules thing for other games, mentioning quality levels of different brands, selling equipment, price conversion, and then several pages on weapon variations, which I think is cool. Also, armor, entertainment, consumables, miscellany, clothing, services, housing, and drugs. Because, of course, there's drugs. Chapter 6, Cybernetics, is where we start seeing some of the new shit in full. So, this is several pages of how cybernetics work, where they go, effects, what have you. It also covers the potential for what it means to cyberize and the whole humanity thing. Personally, I'm pro transhumanism, when it comes to cybernetics and techno organics and paving our own way to humanity's future. But don't do any of that stuff to me. Maybe I've just played too much Shadowrun, but the magic is stronger with no missing essence, if you know what I mean. Chapter 4 Vehicles gives us a heap of vehicles, though I will say this section isn't as organized as it is in, say, the Stars of Fire, and so it makes it harder to skim through. Still, a lot of cool shit in here, though I hate the Akira bike reference. Fuck. Look, the bike is fine, but do you know what's cooler? Fucking Pris's Motorslave from Bubblegum Crisis. Oh hell, the Formula One engine Highway Star from Bubblegum Crisis OVA 4 Revenge Road. Okay, part 2, running a cyberpunk game. Chapter 8, building your cyberpunk setting, starts us off with a quick brief on what to expect in this chapter, and then gives us a long paragraph about consent. Anyway, we then go into concepts and themes for a cyberpunk setting, the evocative concepts, which are sadly not very evocative at all. Dystopia, cityscapes, rain, lightning, capitalism, crime, poverty, squalor, environmental decay, isolation, drug culture, sexual revolution, mega corporations, cyberspace VR, and the guy in the chair. Which, if you're not familiar with that last one, it's basically the revolutionary, a fixer of fixers, the Mr. Johnson to rule them all. As for themes, fame, freedom, money, and power, rather a lot of Drek, chummer. After that, we've got slang and random cyberpunk gigs and gig tables. And now we go from one peeve to another. Cyberpunk inspirations and mixing genres. Look, normally I say MCG are pretty good with their books in all regards, but this entire section is fucking Drek. I'm sorry, it's not worth mentioning more here. Chapter 9, Optional Rules, takes us through a lot of the GM stuff for a lot of the new mechanics introduced. Shits is basically cyberpsychosis and talks about treatments, damage, etc. to a character. How ciphers are handled in the cyberpunk setting, pretty similar to a sci-fi setting option, really. Society stuff like money, and then a focus on GM advice and tools. This comes to an end with miscellaneous tech, direct like 3D printing, hacking, holograms, and weapon variations. All good stuff. Chapter 10, Creatures and NPCs, is our next chapter and gives us a breakdown of new, well, creatures and NPCs to encounter in a cyberpunk setting, as well as additional list from the Cypher system rulebook. Chapter 11, Ciphers, is up next and begins talking about thinking of ciphers in this genre as apps and malware. Or for those Cyberpunk 2077 Edgerunner fans out there, quick hacks. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, as you can imagine. Chapter 12, Artifacts, then gives us new artifacts for the genre, including warframes, really just hard suits, implants, drones, and weapons. Something really interesting they've added here is the introduction of foci as an artifact. Gotta admit, love the concept. It totally works. Also, adding in skill chips, as you can take up artifact cyberware slots to gain skill training with a new skill. Also very cool. On to part 3, Edge City. Chapter 13, Welcome to Edge City, and Chapter 14, GM Secrets of Edge City, bring us to the setting presented in the book. And is it good? Again, I'm going to defer to my usual and not really cover the specifics here. I will point out this sweet map of the city, Edge City, I assume named for the edge stat on a player's character sheet, and not in fact because everyone in the city is a generic stereotypical edgelord. uh, and that brings us to part 4 adventures. Chapter 15, 17th Floor, is a tier 1 to 2 adventure set in Edge City and sees the characters attempt to steal data from a corp. Immortech Medical, in this case. I didn't really cover this, but if your corpo logo is an Egyptian pharaoh head silhouette and you're called Immortech, uh, if you don't have zombies, I'd be disappointed. Yes, mummies, zombies, same thing. Chapter 16, Needle in a Haystack, is designed for 3 to 5 Tier 1 characters and sees the party looking for a missing courier. Okay, the contents of the courier's bag. Yeah, fuck that courier. Can't even imagine what kind of fallout could happen because someone made a courier disappear, all for the contents of a package they were carrying. uh, this is set again in Edge City, so good for a beginning one shot. And finally, Back Matter, which has the glossary and index, pretty self explanatory. And that wraps up this overview, or run through, or whatever these are on the Cypher Whitebooks. I'm going to end this reminding you of Rebecca's final words from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. We were having a moment here! Fuck you! Of all the white books, I figured I would love Neon Rain the second most, and technically there's nothing wrong with it, but it's PG cyberpunk. Look, I grew up with the cyberpunk genre, and it's always been something I like to use in every other genre I can. I mean, it's even part of this whole space pirate thing. I won't proclaim to be the arbiter of what is and isn't cyberpunk, but my personal opinion is that while all the mechanics of this white book are solid for the genre, the themes in this book and the Cash and Chrome zine, including the music playlist, absolutely suck. Like, you recommend a Daft Punk song for the Cyberpunk playlist, but it's Lose Yourself to Dance, the 70s disco throwback song. You didn't go with Derezed from Tron Legacy, anything from Discovery or Homework, let alone Human After All. I mean, thematically, this is one of the worst books. Mechanically, one of the best. Uh, I'm going to link to an episode of my Talk and Direct podcast stream where I spent the entire episode discussing my issues with this in full. They were extensive, about 2 hours extensive. However, I will hand it to my co host Game Masters. He kept me a lot more level than I otherwise would have been. So, what's the actual conclusion? Mechanically, this book is second. Actually, I think it ties with Stay Alive for its contribution to new mechanics, modules it adds to the Cypher system. I can see me immediately integrating these new aspects into my games. Thematically, this is one of Monte Cook Games' worst products, if not the worst. The take on Cyberpunk is so lame and censored, and sometimes so wildly disassociated with the cyberpunk genre that I truly wonder if the designers had any experience with the genre to begin with. Which I already know the answer for one, and it's a yes, which makes me even more confused by the end product. But then, contradictory, you've got the most cyberpunky kinds of things in this book, like slut water. I mean, it's very confusing. At the end of the day, Neon Rain brings great cyberpunk mechanics into the Cypher system, but should not, in my opinion, be used as a reference or guide to cyberpunk for running a game, be it in the Cypher system or any other game system. Well, that was fun. Awkward, brutally honest fun. By the way, if any MCG person ever sees this and wants to send me something for freezies, pretty sure I've blown that potential. I have all the core books and white books for Cypher and Numenera, Discovery and Destiny, or D&D as I like to call them. And I backed the Darkest Woods to get the Darkest House too, so I have that one. I don't have Old Gods of Appalachia, the Magnus Archives, and that last Numenera one you put out, Glimmering Veil or something like that. Uh, if you wanted me to talk about those, I also wouldn't say no to Invisible Sun either. But honestly, I'd also just settle for card decks, like the Weird deck, the Cypher deck, Artifact deck, etc. For Numenera and the Strange and whatnot. Man, I love those decks. Oh, actually, blank versions. Like the Cypher card, but it's blank so the GM can make a custom Cypher or artifact, or the Write or Inventor can make a custom item. Oh, that would be cool. You guys should make those. That'd be really cool. But I mean, trust me, I get it. Review copy, I wouldn't know how to do that stuff. Really, my bank account could just use a break. Also, I know I'm not getting on the anywhere door as long as I keep swearing, but I'm Aussie. It's not just something I can stop doing. Or to phrase it another way, swearing is part of my culture and religion. Anyway, check out the rest of the Cypher System playlist. I will never remove old videos to redo them, though I may tackle a topic I've done before in the future. I'm thinking the how to play the Cypher System by an Aussie should be done. I mean, people have done that breakdown from Americans and Canadians and Europeans, but where's the Aussie version? I promise I won't say cunt. Ah, damn. With the whole video I messed up at the end there. Alrighty, later, Space Dogs. Nexus, do the thing.